Okay, so we're back with what's going to be, I think, our last straight 12 shootout here on high gain, and our standard bearer, if you will, over here is the Celestion G12H. This is the Heritage Series G12 that is sort of the classic today sound of rock and roll. It's what comes stock in the 1960 cabinets, the 1960 A and B cabinets that you buy from Marshall, which really are kind of the standard, if you will, the standard for AC/DC and that kind of thing. And what we have over here on this side is the Reaper 55 from WGS, and that is basically the Reaper with the 55 hertz free air response, and it is a similar speaker. Let's see. However, this particular Reaper is the 30-watt version, and the Heritage over here is capable of quite a bit more. So anyway, let's just see kind of what the difference is in tone. I'm going to start out, again, this is straight up rock and roll, and see what we got. Okay, that's the Celestion. And that's the Reaper 55. Wow. Okay, so the Celestion is definitely a more focused mid-range sound, and the Reaper 55 definitely has more balls in the bottom end and more crispness on the top end, which may or may not be what you're going for. Todd suggested that I do a little AC/DC because that really is sort of the sound, if you will, of the G12H, and something like, again, I'm tuned down to E flat, and it's got the intonation a little bit screwed up here. I apologize. Let's try that over on the WGS. Okay, now back to the Celestion. Over to the WGS. Let's do a little of this on the Celestion. Okay, well, as far as which one's the winner there, that depends on what you're going for. If what the WGS speaker is definitely louder, it's got a little more balls in the bottom end. It's definitely got some more crispness on the top end, but man, the Celestion is definitely like the classic sound of AC/DC and that kind of rock radio. Let's do a couple different things here. I'll do my little Bryan Adams thing. Let's see what we like better there. Wow. Okay. Once again, could go either way. How about a little bit of the? How about the tone rolled off thing? Starting on the Celestion. To the WGS. Back to the Celestion. Okay, there I think I actually definitely like the WGS better. I think its added articulation kind of helps with that whole tone rolled off thing. So I'm going to go ahead and call that, I guess, the end of that particular test. And once again, a little hard to find a complete dead-on winner there. The Celestion G12H, definitely with its sort of focused mid-range sound, just sounds like a lot of what we've heard on the radio, and of course we have heard a lot of that, or what we've heard, you know, on our records. The WGS, I guess if it were me playing on stage, especially if it wasn't a 112 cab like this, I would definitely rather have the WGS because of the added oomph on the bottom end. In a 412 with a Marshall, man, I could probably go either way with that. Another neat thing to remember right now, though, is that the WGS speaker is a speaker that comes in at just over half the price of the Celestion, so that's pretty cool. And they're made in Paducah, Kentucky. So there you go. Hey, I tell you what, I'll give you a teaser. The next shootouts we're going to be doing actually are going to involve the tiny tube amps. You know, there's a lot of companies now that are making little like 1 to 7 watt tube amps, and they're becoming really popular. And I dig the whole concept, the whole idea of being able to go into a studio, you know, get a cranked tube amp sound while at really low volume. That's the next shootouts we're going to do, and we're going to use, we'll probably go back to the greenbacks, and we might start out with these two speakers I used right here, but a lot of the popular speakers for these tiny tube amps, for those people, anybody who want to invest in a little bit better speakers, are in fact the Celestion greenbacks and vintage 30s, and of course the WGS counterparts, the Reaper, the Green Beret, the Vet 30. Those are all great choices if you want to make your little, like 5 watt inexpensive tube heads sound good, sound maybe even big enough, large enough to play on stage with. That's going to be our next shootout, so stay tuned for that. And thanks for sitting through all of this, y'all.